Thank you for coming back to my channel. I'm Stephanie if you're new here. So I'm in the house right now and I have the kids all outside except for one of them, and I want to answer some of your questions. I went on my community tab just recently and asked if you guys had any questions for me and the family. I haven't done one in a while and I thought it would be fun for me to answer some of your questions. So if you are new to my channel though, we live in a garage. I have 10 children, 8 of them live in the house. So that is basically what we are doing around here. We also have some animals and starting up a homestead. So that's just a little quick background of our life. But some of the questions that I have to answer today will go into some of that and some of the things that we do as a family of 10. So with me and my husband, that makes 10. 2 of my kids are grown and they are out of the house. So some of the questions will refer to our family as in things that I might have shared in the past. But it has been a while since I shared a lot of it, so I am more than happy to answer some of them questions. I did have other questions on us living in a garage and how we make it work. So we're gonna tie in all of that. So today's question and answer is going to be a good range of all the things that we do around here. So my kids, homeschooling, animals, living life in a garage, and I'm going to answer all of them today in today's video. One of the questions I have answered in the past, but I have a lot of new followers, so I will update a lot of you guys on some of the things that we did or have been doing in the last year. Questions that I get with living in the garage is how we make it work. I usually just give them our tour or garage tour video, and with that video our house isn't updated. It's still in the regular colors that we had before, but since then we updated, and then I have a couple of videos of us doing the kitchen over. So I will list some of that down below, and you guys can go back. If you are new to my channel, you can go back and see some of the updates in the kitchen that we did. We redid our countertops, so I usually do just contact paper on our countertops, and we redid the cabinets. So the back face of the cabinet was white, and then the front part was a tan color, and then the whole garage was like a mustard color. And I felt like I wanted to update everything, so the whole garage is the same color now. Everything is this back color. If you go back to them videos, you'll see a tour of what the garage looked like before and after. I have to finish the living room. We didn't do the ceiling yet. I'm still waiting to be able to do that, and still waiting to do the furniture and the rug in the living room. The other thing I need to update is our picture wall. We had a big, huge picture wall, and ever since I took that down, we haven't been able to put any pictures back up yet because I haven't figured anything out yet of really what I wanted to put up or how I wanted to lay it out. So that's gonna wait for a little bit. So that is everything with the update of the garage. There's still things that we need to do that I wanted to finish. The upstairs bathroom. The ceilings in the house are 14 feet, and we are able to cut things in half and make them work. So our ceiling was 14 feet in the kitchen, and we cut it in half and made bedrooms upstairs. And then Evelyn's room, we cut in half and we did an upstairs bathroom. And now in our bedroom, we have the same thing. So we're gonna cut that in half and make bedrooms up above. An upstairs bathroom that needs to be finished. That room upstairs is probably just gonna wait until like whenever we can get to it, because we're not really worried about that room. That room, we also have a hair cutting room, and I do hair up there for my kids, and then whoever I get to have their hair done. So we will use that upstairs, but it just needs to be done. That was like one room that we're gonna do last. I'm not really worried about that room. It's mainly getting the other kids' bedroom done, finishing up the living room, and getting some of the stuff that I need to update in the living room. So that is a little bit on what we've been doing with the garage inside. I do have tiles that I need to get yet from when we took a platform out of our living room. I still need to update that yet. But we have a rug there so nobody sees that we don't have any tiles underneath there. We did change our TV around. We did get a TV stand. Our furniture is outdated, so that is another thing that we need to do. I know I had a question maybe on our chairs in our kitchen. I had these chairs donated to us. I had our kitchen table donated to us from our church, and our chairs will eventually get hopefully upholstered. I have everything to do our chairs, but I have a feeling that my kids are just gonna mess them anyways, so I'm not gonna worry about having that done right now. But there are still things that we need to update. My bedroom I wanna update. But this year we're going to be doing a lot outside. So I don't know how much we're going to be able to get done in the house. The kids' room and our bedroom is what we're going to focus on this year. And the living room I can update as we find what we want. We're looking for a certain couch and we haven't found it yet. So that is why I don't record a lot in my living room, just because I don't really like what it looks like. I like that we updated everything with the painting. Everything is nice now. But the living room is just kind of like, so I don't really share a lot in our living room. And that'll get done whenever we get that done. Another thing that we did is we changed over our snack pantry from our homeschool cabinet to our snack pantry. Now them are flip-flopped, and I share our pantry restock, like our snack pantry restock. So I share a lot of that with you guys on us flipping that over. We have our homeschool area. I don't really share a lot of that. I will, if we ever like change things out, then I share a lot with that. Next year I'll probably share more because we need to, clean it out for the new year. They need new cubbies in there. So that's just stuff that we're gonna share through the year. But that is pretty much everything that I want to share with like the inside of the garage. So the one day, once we get everything done, I don't know when that's going to be, but I will do a full tour update of everything updated. So we'll see how that goes. But for right now, we are getting it done, and I'm glad that I got done with the painting and all of that first. Move on to the questions, and some of the questions are going to be a little longer than others just because of what they are. So I have some really good questions that you guys are interested in knowing, and if I have any more that I can think of some of the questions that maybe I've gotten in the past, I'll add that to this. So the first question that I got on my Q&A is, how did I meet my husband? So I do have a website, and I share a lot of that on my website. I just don't have my website updated. I will leave that down in the description or in the comments section. You guys can go check it out. It's just some older stuff that I put on there, and I just don't have time to update it. But I do have our family story, and a lot of our pictures are outdated too. So some of the kids' pictures, that's not from recent times. So I will do that when I have more time at another time. But so how we met is I worked at a place nearby. So I did some housekeeping for a period of time, and that job ended, and I needed to get another job quickly because I had 2 kids on my own. And I was looking around, and I ended up putting in an application at a nearby restaurant. I worked at Perkins, and I was a hostess there. So I was only there for a period of time, and I was more upfront with everyone, and I would see people and just help with the registers and stuff like that. And there was always, people that came in, and you just got to know everybody. Well, my husband was one that would always come in, and I would talk to him randomly, but I would just get his drink order. And then a couple times he would come in with other people, but very randomly. He would just mainly come in by himself. And a lot of times we never really connected. There was no, we didn't do more than just whatever he wanted for his order or his drink order. And then there was a time when he came in with his friend, and he asked if I was so-and-so's daughter. he's a contractor, my dad's a contractor, and they happen to be working on a job together. And they must have been talking about how, like, my daughter is single and he recently had a divorce. My husband had a divorce before me, and how he was looking to date and stuff like that. So, and I already had kids, that didn't bother him. So he met me. I didn't think anything of it just because at that time, I was 27. I really wasn't looking into things. I kind of was dating. He actually was kind of dating, and it wasn't anything that was really obvious. Well, I would go to work, and a lot of the other workers were like, this guy keeps coming in and he keeps wondering when you're coming to work. And it was kind of weird at the time, but at the time I really didn't care about any of that stuff, so I didn't really respond to it. And then he came in one time and he was kind of like, hey, you know, how many times do I have to come in before I get your number? So I actually took his number and just kind of left it at that. And it wasn't maybe like weeks later that I ended up giving him a call. It was his mom's number, and because he must have been working with his mom or something at the time, I don't remember. And I just left a message, and then he eventually called me back, and we ended up connecting that way. So a little backstory is he was married before for 10 years. They didn't have any kids. I already had kids, and they were 7 and 10 at the time. And my life at the time was, you know, I was a single mom taking care of 2 kids. I dated, but I never really got serious with anyone because I had 2 kids and it was hard to date at that time. And he was already had a commitment, and he was already 10 years older than me. So he was 37, and he was at the point of his life too where we did the dating thing, but we already knew after so many months that we were going to get married, just because of where we were at that time. So to us, it didn't feel like we were rushing anything. So we already knew like a year later that we were going to get married. But he already was living in the garage because he had the garage built. He's an electrician. The garage was going to get changed over into a regular garage for him to work in a workshop. And at the time when he went through a divorce, before he was going to get a divorce, they were going to rebuild and have a house somewhere else. It didn't work. They got a divorce, and he had the garage. We dated. We needed to make it work. And I already had 2 kids, and we had to build and make something for my kids. So a year later, we got married. 4 months later, we got pregnant with our first child together. And about a year, I don't know, they're like 18 months apart. So my kids are like every other year until we had the twins. And then the twins and Evelyn are a little bit further distance apart. So we were okay with it jumping into it just because I was looking for something different, and he was already at the point of having a commitment at one time, and he did the dating and stuff, and we just knew what we both wanted. So we made it work, and it worked. And so now I'm going to be questioning how many years we've been married. So it's been 18 years. It'll be 19 years this year, I think. So that'll be funny. I'll figure it out later. But yeah, so it's been that long. So after I got pregnant with our first one, he was probably like 8 months old when I got pregnant with my next one. So my first 2 are a girl and a boy. And then we had 7 boys in a row, 7 boys together. And then we had a little girl together, and she is going to be 5 next month. So we had a child every other year. And then the twins are 7, so we had them. And then Evelyn is 5. So everyone is like every other year of age in our family right now. So my oldest is 30. My next is 26. And then it goes 17, 16, 13. Well, he just turned 16. And the other one is going to be turning 14. 13, 11, 9. The twins are 7. And Evelyn is 5. And with our ages right now, with me and Lauren's ages right now, I am 46. He is 56. So we get a lot of questions like, are we going to have any more? Well, I miscarried and I was like 45 years, 45. I think. And pretty much am at the point of probably not having any more. But if we did, you will all know because it'll be a surprise. A surprise when I tell you. It'll be, one of them things. So, but she's 5 years old and I only was able to get pregnant that one time after that. So if it happens, that'll be great. If it doesn't, we are on a new way of life right now. I have 3 granddaughters from my first child. So we have that going on. We have, the animals going on, homeschooling. So I'm busy, but if a baby came in the picture, that would be totally fine. Okay, so that is mainly how we met. I just wanted to give you a little backstory about how everything started too, not just how we met. So we met at Perkins. Mainly my dad pretty much set us up and that's how that started. So hopefully I was able to answer your question. If you have any more questions on that, just leave them in the comments. All right. And then my next question is, how did we decide our kids' names? So Victoria, my oldest, was, at the time I watched soap operas and there were twin girls on there. I think it was General Hospital or something like that. And one of them was Victoria or Vicky, and I love that name. So that is how I got Victoria. And then Blaine, I heard that name from somewhere. And my sister at the time she knew someone with that name. Like one of her friends knew someone with that name. So I ended up using that, except for I spelled his name different. One thing with our kids' names is we tried to spell them a little more unique than the average way of spelling them. So Blaine is spelled Blayne and instead of Blaine. So that is my 26-year-old. And then Gage, our first child together, Lauren he had a collie when I met him and his name was Axel. And then he passed away years ago. And he had a collie before Axel and his name was Gage. And I loved that name. And usually you spell Gage Gage, and his is Gauge. And a lot of people get that confused, but we tried to spell it like a regular Gage would be spelled. So that is where we got his name, is from his dog that he had in the past. And then with Eli, we looked up baby names, and that was just one of the common baby names at the time. And there was a lot of Elijahs, and we just didn't like that name. So we picked Eli. So Eli is not Elijah, it is Eli. And we get questioned that all the time. They're like, is it Elijah or is it Eli? And we're like, it's just Eli. And so then after Eli is Hudson. Hudson, we did the same thing. It was just search baby names. I think at that time it was really popular to search baby names online, like what is the most popular name. And we didn't always go with like what's the most popular name because we didn't want it to be what anybody else had. And Hudson was just something that me and Lauren agreed on. A lot of the names that we have, we agreed on. I don't think there's one name that me and Lauren didn't agree on. We mainly picked them because we both liked them. And then after Hudson, with Gage too, we did it because we wanted Lauren's into cars. I was into cars. I was raised with cars. We went to races. We did a lot of like car shows and stuff with my dad. I love cars. So with Gage, we have the whole Gage thing. And then we had Hudson. Lauren had a Hudson car. So we kind of kept with the car theme for a little bit. I wish we would have did it with all our kids, but it wasn't until we got to Hudson or Gage, and it just didn't work with anything else. But, to start I had Victoria, so it just didn't work that way. But we have Gage and then Hudson and then Miles. I think we found through something. I don't remember where Miles's name came from. It might have been the same thing with looking up baby names, but also with Miles, if it's the car theme. And then we have Declan, and Declan we had a name for him. His name was supposed to be Watson, I think. We had Watson, Gage is like, ugh. We had Watson. What was the other? Winston, Watson, Oliver, Warden. Warden was recent. Warden was recent that me and Lauren liked. If we ever had another boy, it would have been Warden. Okay, but I think Declan was going to be Oliver or Watson or something like that. And we were at the mall one time and there was a little baby there and we're like, oh, what's his name? And they're like, Declan. And we're like, okay, that's what it is. So we picked right from then Declan. And then Nash and Lachlan. So I liked Cash. And then Lachlan I was on YouTube one time. This is when I started watching YouTube, it was about 7 years ago. And Lachlan was a baby name for a girl. So it was, this lady did a nursery and that was on her nursery wall was Lachlan. So I looked it up. Yeah, it's a girl name. Yep. So, but I looked it up on Google. I was like, can Lachlan be a girl name or a boy name? Both or whatever. And it can be both.
Nothing like a girl name.
Well, because you're used to it now.
Lachlan.
But if Lachlan was a girl, you would connect. But it's just that we're used to it. Yeah,
I can't call Evelyn Lachlan.
I know. Yeah, I know. It's just weird now. But so then I had Lachlan and Cash, and Lauren hated Cash, and my niece was like, "What about Nash?" So we're like, "Perfect, Nash car." It just kind of fit in with the other car theme names, and that's how we got Nash. And then Evelyn, I think Evelyn came from, Lauren named one of the chickens Evelyn, I think. I think that's Lauren will correct me on that if that's wrong. But so we picked Evelyn, we liked the older theme. And the reason why we liked the older theme was we have a lot of connection between me and Lauren. So I'm gonna go off the baby names just for 1 second. We're gonna go on to different names. Lauren has a sister named Cheryl. I have a sister named Cheryl. His grandma's name on his dad's side is Leona. My grandma's name on my dad's side is Leona. My middle name is Rita. That's my grandma's name. Lauren's mom's middle name is Rita. So we were like, okay, well, I'm never gonna use Rita as a name. It wasn't one thing that I was gonna use at one time. I had another grandma, or our other grandma, I always told her, I'm like, if I ever have a girl, I'm gonna name her after you. Well, it wasn't happening. I had 8 boys right in a row and it wasn't happening. And then we had Evelyn, and I was like, okay, well, we have so many coincidences when it comes to our grandma's names and just middle names and stuff like that. So we're gonna name her after our grandma's, or, my name or whatever. And because they're so old-fashioned, we're like, we can't name her a name that is common now with old-style middle names, and we gave her 2 middle names. And then my oldest boy, Blaine, has 2 middle names too. So they're the only 2 that has 2 middle names. So that's kind of where my kids' names came from. We always try to pick their middle names for someone. So like the twins, a lot of people with twin, they will have the first letter of their first name the same letter. And me and Lauren don't like to follow the same tradition that everybody else does. We like to change it up and do something unique. So Nash and Lachlan's middle name is Lauren's middle name. So they share the same middle name instead of sharing the same letter. So that's what we did with them. And all my kids' middle names, all my boys and girls, come from a family member, someone close to us. So that is how we named our kids' names and their middle names. I've never shared that before, I don't think, on here. So that's kind of fun to share with you guys. So yes, all our names for our kids are very special. It's funny though, because anytime that we told our family what our kids' names were, they're like, don't do it. Like, that is terrible. That is not a very good name. None of them. That's bad for your kids to have these names. Like, that is not good. Now that I name them their names, they are their name. Like, we can never go back and change their names into somebody else, because that would be so weird. So our kids' names fit our kids really, really well. All right, so that is everything with our kids' names and how I met my husband. Another question is our homeschool curriculum. I don't share a lot on here with our homeschool stuff, only because that is not where my channel was going when I first started. I did share a lot of homeschool stuff, what we did during the day, and them videos were not doing very well. So let me know in the comments down below if you guys want me to do homeschool videos and share more with you guys. I would do it if you guys are interested, but it wasn't showing that when I first started. The only time that my channel did really well was last year when I did my homeschool unboxing, what my curriculum was. That went really well, and that seems to be what you guys, what my viewers wanted to see. But anytime that I shared my regular days with homeschooling, nobody wanted to see it. So if that is different now, let me know in the comments, and I will start sharing more with our homeschool stuff. I wouldn't mind doing that. I love what we do with our homeschool stuff. So I would love to share that with you guys if you guys are interested. So the curriculums that we use this year, I have used so many different curriculums through the years. And this year is our first year with BJU. I have used it in other years, but it was kind of a thrown together, like, hey, that's an extra book, you need to get it done. It wasn't like, hey, this is BJU and I love this curriculum. I started out with a Becca curriculum. Our first year, I put a lot of money into it. It wasn't something that I liked for my kids, and I didn't keep up with it. I just didn't like it. It wasn't for our family. I used master books one year. I think it was last year or the year before. It was a complete waste of money. It wasn't anything that my kids were learning from it. So I totally got rid of all of that. One thing with homeschooling and curriculum, you will waste money. That is just a guarantee until you find what works for you. What makes me mad is my first two kids was pretty much a guinea pig. I pulled them out in 3rd and 6th grade, and we did the Becca books, and then I switched to Switched Schoolhouse, which is a computer program, and it did all the grading. It did everything for me besides me putting all the curriculum into the computer and setting it up for them. It's a good program. It's just there wasn't a lot of paperwork, and I think my kids lacked on that, and I think they kind of suffered from that. So I don't do a lot of computer stuff besides typing. So this last year I switched to BJU, and it is an amazing curriculum for my family. I wish I would have started out from the beginning with BJU just because of how the curriculum works. This year I'm on 2nd grade, 4th grade, 6th grade. I might have a little bit of 8th grade. And so this year for homeschool, I'm doing 2nd grade, 4th grade, 6th grade, 8th grade, 10th grade, and 12th grade. And my older kids in high school are doing different curriculum. That is just kind of random books that we already had that I threw together for a curriculum. I'm at that point where I've been homeschooling now for almost 18 years, and I'm able to just throw a curriculum together and just make it work for my kids. But for my younger ones, if you guys are gonna stay and watch more of homeschool stuff, if you're interested in my homeschool stuff, I will share a lot of that with you because I am going to stick to BJU, and I will be able to show you guys like more of that. I didn't share a lot of my homeschool stuff in the past because I had thrown together homeschool stuff that worked for our family at the time, and now I'm gonna stick to BJU just because of how it works. So I don't know 1st grade because I'm starting out in 6th grade, 4th grade, or 2nd, 4th, and 6th. Evelyn will be doing it when I first started out. So what they do is, so what I had noticed in 2nd grade is in their English, when you open up the book, they'll teach about a certain topic. Then when I open up the 4th grade book, they're teaching the same topic in 2nd, fourth, and sixth in the beginning of the book. But in each year, it just becomes more advanced in the study. So it could be like, they could be talking about verbs or something like that in a basic form in second grade, but then in fourth grade, they, do a little bit more advanced. And then sixth grade, it's the same thing. So every year they're going to open up the book and do the same thing, but just a little bit more advanced. And I wish I would have did that from the beginning, because by the time they get to eighth grade, they're going to already know how to do this, because they did it in all these grades and it was the exact same thing, but just more advanced. And the curriculum that I was using in the past, I was using all different ones and they didn't line up together. So when we did a new study, it didn't make sense. And it was like they were learning all over again. So we are going to stick to BJU. It's just what works for us right now. And like I said, if you guys want more of that, I'll be able to share more of that with you guys, because it's amazing. And whatever I'm doing this year, I probably just wouldn't throw it away, because I'll just share it with you guys if you're interested. Not yet. You got to wait till I'm done. Okay. So that is what I'm doing for curriculum. So the younger kids, we don't do history and science. The older kids, we do everything in high school. Evelyn is not in school yet, but I'll pull out random stuff. They usually do better when I can focus on them, and I'm not ready to focus on the Evelyn yet, because National Lachlan are second grade and they need me more than Evelyn does right now. So I'm not worried about her. But we do all sorts of things in homeschool. So I can't probably go over all of that in this video, because it would just get too long. But if you want more on that, then I will share more of that. So just let me know in the comments if that's something that you guys are interested in, and I'll do more of that. Okay, so one of the questions that I got is, are we going to get any more animals? So if you haven't been following this last year, we got pigs last year. We have chickens that we've been doing for the last 7 years. I just got peacocks last year for the first time. There's a whole story on my peacock story in one of my videos. I will leave that down in the description if you're interested in finding out what happened to our peacocks. I am going to be getting more peacocks this year. We got different turkeys last year than we normally get. We are going to be breeding the turkeys that we have this year. And what else? We got 8 rabbits last year. Our pigs we butchered last year. I am going to be getting more pigs this year. I do talk a lot about getting a cow, and that might be I can go get a cow. We got to get everything set up. We're just not ready yet for the setup part. And we're going to be building, Lauren wants to put together a barn, and we need an area to store all the hay. We can put up the fencing, we can get the cow, but we don't know where to put the hay yet. So that's where I'm at. And I keep talking about it over and over. And eventually that's what we're going to get. We're going to get a beef cow. I do want to get a Highland cow, but they're $2,000. But I will answer that in a minute. Guy that I connected with getting my eggs. If you guys haven't seen that video, I'm going to be breeding out different chicks for what we already have, and I've been learning a lot from him. And he has Highland cows, so I could get one if we had $2,000 to get one, but I wouldn't butcher it. Like, it would be more of our pet, and that's an expensive pet, so we're not there yet. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. But yes, we want to get a beef cow, 1 or 2, and be able to sell that or sell them. So we would butcher 1, sell 1. That's what I want to do with the pigs this year. I'm hoping to get 3, butcher 2, sell 1. I need to call for our meat chickens yet, and our regular turkeys that we get for meat for Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I also want to do more of them. I tried last year and our turkeys died before we even could butcher them. That's a whole nother story. But yes, I want to be able to breed animals or have animals for people and then butcher them and then sell them. That's kind of what my goal is, to get to that point. And that's what I was supposed to do last year, but then the turkeys died and I couldn't even do it. Same with my peacocks. My peacocks died, and I have to possibly start all over. So I'm gonna go over that in my other question though. But yes, beef cow is the next animal. We have 3 parakeets in the house. We have 2 hamsters in the house. And I think that's all we have for animals. I don't know if there's any other animal. Donkey's on the list. What did you say? Oh yeah, we have a cat. We have a cat too. That's a whole nother story. I want to get a dog. We're not ready yet. We're used to having animals outside, and I feel that if I got a dog, I would want it inside, and I don't know if I'm ready for that. And I want to be able to go, I'm saying and too many times. We like to kind of just go camping and doing things, and I don't want to have to get someone to watch my dog. It's easier for the animals that we do have than to get a dog. So I'm not ready yet, but dog, donkey, and cow are on my list. So that is what we want to do. All right, so the next question is gardening. Yes, Lauren just got a bunch of soil for me to start seeds. I didn't do it yet because I'm trying to get these videos out first. And then Easter is coming up, but I'm trying to get it done. So we are in March. We're gonna start seeds pretty soon. I have growing lights. We have heat pads. We're gonna do that. This year, we're gonna do things different. Last year, our garden was okay, but our tomatoes did not do well because we started out from seeds. We're probably gonna do plants this year, or I can start them seeds in our garage first. But that's what we're gonna do. So yes, we are gonna do a garden. Lauren usually is in charge of the gardening because he likes to do it in a different way. I have a greenhouse that he just built last year. We're going to be painting that. We're gonna get that set up. So we're gonna start seeds inside. We're gonna start our greenhouse this year, hopefully, if we can get it done. And what else? I'm not really into plants. I want to be into plants, but that's future stuff. I would love to plant plants all around the house if we can and do that, but I'm not sure. Future, would love to have our own seeds from our plants and from our garden or whatever and do that. I'm going to be canning this year from our garden. That's going to be all new stuff. I did a little bit of canning. If you guys been following along, I'm learning as I show what I have been learning. So canning this year is going to be a thing. And learning because I am 46 years old and just starting to learn all of this because I've had kids in the last how many years and I haven't had time to do that. So you guys are going to learn along with me. If you guys have any advice on canning and gardening, leave them in the comments down below. We have gardened for the last like how many years, but we haven't been really serious about it. And we kind of just put a garden out there and that's about it. So it's kind of what we want to do in the future is make it more of a serious thing. All right, my next question is, are we going to freeze dry? So Lauren did some dehydrating with fruit and stuff. I'm not really into that. I know that he would love to freeze dry if we could invest in it. That would be more Lauren, but I would do it for my channel to show what we're doing if we ever get to that point. So right now we're not that far yet, but that is in the future for sure for Lauren. And if we get to that point, then yes, definitely we will be sharing that. So this is where I'm going to share some of the other stuff that I couldn't really fully answer because of the question. So what are the most challenges and what is the most rewarding? So our challenge is time. I am able to do a lot on YouTube and share with you guys because I'm home, but Lauren's not. So Lauren would be able to share more with you guys, but I'm more into the YouTube than Lauren is. And if I need a video done and I need him to help me, he'll do it. But we haven't got to the point where Lauren can stay home and like income wise, we want to be able to make enough for Lauren to come home and help me with my channel and help get to that point of doing more so that we can do more of what we want to do. Hopefully that makes sense. So for like the freeze dryer, we don't have enough invested into what we're doing right now to get to the point of having a freeze dryer. if we grow on our channel to get to the point where I'm making enough money for Lauren to not work anymore or be self-employed, then we're gonna invest in all of that. So I gotta get my channel to the point where we are mainly making income from my channel and not from what Lauren's making with his self-employment. So that is what we would like to do. I do have some stuff behind the scenes that I'm not sharing on my channel right now until I can have a definite answer on that. But we will get to that point when I figure all that out. But right now, our goal is to build my channel to the point where I'm making the income, Lauren's helping me with the behind the scene things, and we get to the point where we can buy things to up my channel. That's mainly what's kind of the downfall right now of why I can't do more. And then, like, even with investing in $2,000 for a Highland cow, we don't have that income to do that. We can get a regular cow because they're not that I'm going to be using that tonight. Oh, what are you doing?
I don't know.
Oh,
You're talking.
can you put that back in the fridge until, because then you can help me, because then I can,
That's why I took it out. Is so
yeah, but it's out. Like,
start doing it.
yeah, I know. It's fine.
Do you want me to cut it?
No.
Or want me to-
Not yet. Hold on. Okay, so that's where we need to get to. So that's the downfall right now of why we can't grow certain areas of what we want to do, is because of income wise. So once I get my channel to the point where I'm making more money than my husband, then we are going to get to that point. I know Nash wants some too, and I just said not to right now because I'm doing a video. Okay, so another thing is yes, the challenging part is not having enough income to do what we actually want to do and share on my channel. But once I get to that point of making more money on YouTube, then we will share more. So that's what we're gonna do. And then the other one is, what is the rewarding part? The rewarding part is what we're putting into it right now and what has been working. So one of the things that is going to be cool this year is we're building on to what we already have. So we want to build onto the coop that we have. We're going to build an area for our turkeys, our peacocks. We're turning my she shed into, which we didn't even do anything with the she shed because that was plans for this year. I decided we're going to turn it into my incubating area, my baby chick area. So instead of using our garage for incubating and putting our baby chicks out in the garage, we're going to move everything into the she shed. So Lauren's going to help do everything with the she shed. We need to build off that. He's going to build a barn, and we're going to build an area for peacocks. So we still have to like build things to get to that point, but we have to have the money to get to that point, and that's what we're using YouTube for, is part of our fun extra income. So my income that I make on YouTube is birthdays, holidays, and whatever Lauren, he helps with some of that. And then his job mainly is our income for our bills, our house, and all of that. But everything else, as for fun stuff, is what I make on my channel. So I want to take the fun stuff that I'm making on my channel, the income, the more I make, the more I'm going to turn into what we want to turn into a business of homesteading and making that bigger on my channel. So that is everything that I wanted to answer on today's video. That is all the questions. If you guys have any more for me, just leave them in the comment section and I will answer them directly. But otherwise, that is everything. Hopefully I answered everything for you guys today, and you guys enjoyed hearing a little bit of a backstory of how we started, why we live in a garage, and how we're gonna make things go in the future. So, all right, so hopefully you guys liked today's video. Don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.